Ladies and gentlemen, Matt, Zach, Alex.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone. How are we all?
What are the odds?
Hello.
It's like this was planned. I don't know what to tell you. It's a Festively Plump virtual tasting. Welcome, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, members and friends. Dov, good to see you. Howard, thanks for tuning in, and I'm sure many more are to come. This is our final live stream of the year, and we've got a incredible 7-dram lineup to take you all through tonight. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling a bit festive.
I'm excited.
It's a good.
I'm festive. I'm feeling festive. Yeah.
Festive, beautiful.
I just realized the way the cameras are laid out that if you pushed Zach this way and Alex that way, they could almost merge with their t-shirts.
I know, it's like Siamese.
There we go. We're gonna merge going.
Basically the same person, you know.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
T-shirt. We know what the drill is. You know.
Yeah.
We got the memo.
I'm just rogue. Don't worry about me.
Betty, it's so good to see you.
Betty, always good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. We did get some peated in this lineup.
Don't worry. There's peated.
Shall we kick things off with dram number one? Just jump straight in. It's gonna have a big night ahead of us, so we're gonna take it easy, but talk about flavor and enjoy things with cast 28.99.
Let's do it.
And for those watching along at home,
if you've got a pack as well, like leave some comments if you got one of these packs. If you're enjoying the pack with us tonight, Zach and I also want to do a quick shout out for those whose packs maybe did not arrive in time. A couple of members have messaged through saying Australia Post is playing silly buggers as always, especially around this time of year. So you can always watch this back later.
Yeah, that's true. It's unfortunately some things are out of our hands, and we apologize for that, but all streams are archived, and that's pretty much instant. As soon as this ends, you can just jump on our YouTube channel, and it's right there under the live streams. So, and for those who are watching along, which is everyone who's not the four of us, we are going in the order that is on your tasting menu. Sometimes we change it up, sometimes we don't. Tonight we are going in this order.
Zach and I were just talking just before we went live about this first whiskey, 28.99. Love Hearts in Flower Meadows, for those playing along at home. This is not a distillery that many whiskey drinkers get excited by, and especially their core range. And I'm not, it's not bashing their whiskey at all, but it's just not a whiskey that there's certain distilleries in Scotland that do have a single malt range, but they don't really get much. No, you never ever hear someone say, "Oh, that's my favorite distillery in all of Scotland." And this is one of them. And we're just saying, we're being honest by saying there's not really many whiskeys we've had from this distillery where we go, yeah, I definitely want a second bottle of that, or I can't wait to get my hands on a bottle of that. And this is something that we've done really differently here at SMWS, of just pioneering spirits that could be actually fantastic and when bottled independently. And I think this is an example of one. I noticed this for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and I just loved it.
It's interesting, guys, because it's not one that is typically ever cask strength. I think
no.
You see it is usually the sort of 40, 43, 46 at best.
That's it. And it doesn't often see a first fill barrel. So
exactly.
You get to experience that real opening up of flavor.
So I think, nosing it, I haven't tasted it yet. Have never tried this before on the palate, but even nosing it, 62.2, it carries so much flavor to those OBs just on the ABV.
Yeah. And to be fair, members often, I know some members dodge the young and sprightlies, and I think wrongly so. I think it's like you get these lovely spirit-driven whiskies that are even in first fill wood like this. And you get that these are just the perfect summer drams as well. On a hot afternoon, this is like what you want to be reaching for.
Yep. And again, to the young and sprightly point, the society doesn't tell you not to put water in it. It just says you put your own water in it.
Yeah.
So it's 62.2. If you're at home watching this and you want to put a drop in, go for it. Try it first need, of course. To see
I've already added a bit. I've already added a bit of water, and it actually works remarkably well.
This could honestly almost, if it wasn't for a little bit of zest, this could be sweet, fruity, and mellow. Like it's just like strawberry vanilla bean ice cream. Like it's so decadent and delicious. But with a bit of like that sort of almost boysenberry strawberry sort of a syrup, like the cottage. That sort of syrup.
It does have like
stuff.
A syrupy rhubarb or something. It's really desserty in the fruit.
Yeah.
Me, I'm getting a lot of this creamy, unctuous, like vanilla coconut sort of vibe in there. Leads me more towards the cask, but I think it works well with all of that fruit from the spirit as well.
That's lovely.
Howard, great starting dram. Stone fruit, vanilla bean. Stone fruit's a
Yes.
good call, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sort of that leads into that peaches and cream
Peach, definitely, yeah.
thing for me.
I mean, I'm biased when I say this, but the mere fact that we can still get a society bottling for $159, a single cask with 9 years in wood, that's, I think, a phenomenal value. And it's also just, this is the kind of thing I just want on a hot January afternoon.
I mean, it's worth.
It's not a complicated whiskey, and no one's going to pretend it is, but I think it's just lovely stone fruit. Vanilla bean's a good call.
Well, I think as Howard put it, it's a great starting dram. Like it really just it's not too much to overanalyze, or it's not too complicated. It's just great flavor. I think it's also worth noting this is the second 28 we've gotten just in a couple of 2-3 months. But before that, we haven't seen a 28 in quite a while. It was Susurration of Summer, I think, a Juicy Oak and Vanilla, which very different but similar stats.
Susurration was great. That was great.
I think to your point, Matt, too, about the sprightly, young and sprightly being missed, young aside, but the sprightly, often that I think means a little bit, it's obviously got the alcohol to carry flavour. That's great. But I think it does just mean add your own water. Add your own preference for level. Because on neat, for me, I would definitely want a touch of water in this, but even like 3 or 4 drops, and it brings it, like you were saying, Adam, into that sort of almost like sweet, fruity, and mellow category just off the back of that. So
you've just put a bit in, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay.
All it takes, I think, too, just like literally, I did about probably 6 drops by the end, but yeah.
Lachlan Watt, you're all looking sprite and youngly. Thank you, Lachlan. 1534. You're a lot older than I thought you were.
1534.
Excellent.
Good birth year. Good year. It's a good year in world history.
Good vintage of cognac. Yeah,
good vintage for cognac.
And Dov, yes, thank you for the cakes. We opened one of them in the office the other day and enjoyed them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dov. Very generous of you. Thank you for sending them over. The team have very much been appreciating it. Okay, this is great. That's an easy drinker.
It's an easy drinker. I will say though, it's sort of almost evolving into sort of pumpernickel pumpkin bread, like sourdough on the nose for me now. Like it's almost getting a little bit on the savory side.
Interesting, because I don't disagree with that, but I also think the fruit opens up, so I'm getting more like raspberry and strawberry, like fresher.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe the alcohol is initially a bit closed, but yeah.
Well, Betty's in agreement with you that it needs water.
It needs just a touch, because that's actually true, Betty. I'll put a couple of drops only, 3 to 5, but yeah, no, it opens up with the fruit after that.
It's something we always mention way too late in these tastings. It's always like we're halfway through before we remind people of this. If you can keep a few drops of that whiskey in your glass going along, because it's always good to come back and smell how that whiskey's evolved, open in the glass, even after 20, 30 minutes, even after an hour. It's like they can really change, and it's also an exercise in seeing how your palate responds. So like, after you've had a peated whiskey near the end, it's like come back to that. It's like, ooh, how does that smell again?
I think we're getting better at it though, because now we're on the first dram. I feel like it gets earlier and earlier when we tell people.
True.
We're going to start putting it in the email soon.
It is true though. Like society drams, I've always said, especially the older world Scottish drams glass. You think about like in a glass is the same as opening a bottle. So if you open your bottle and you pour a bit out and you share it with your friends today, put the cork back in. A bit of oxidization will be how it tastes the next time you try it. So why not see how it goes in the glass, see if you like it, and that's probably how it'll be after you revisit it in a month in the bottle.
Yeah.
You know what? I reckon that would absolutely go really hard in a highball as well.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, agree. The fruit, the ability to cope with a bit of dilution. 100%.
Would absolutely go hard.
Yeah, it would go hard. Yeah, it would slap.
Yeah, that's the word we're looking for.
That's the one I was going for.
Yeah, good.
I am so old.
Lachlan with the pre-phylloxera. Phylloxera?
Were you? Did you add a European inflection to that word? Did you?
I thought the X might have been the Greek here instead of because it's all Greek really. So
it's a Dr. Seuss novel.
Mark T, thank you for joining us with your traditional. That's a tumbler.
You're lame. You've got glassware, Teague. Weirdo.
Glassware, yes, good. You're a bit late, Teague. I'm just going to make note of that actually on our report.
Dock him points.
Dock him points. Yep. So shall we move on to number 2? You can, of course, there's no rush. You can always come back to these whiskies as we go through them.
Yep.
But, It's worth noting this next one is not just premium malt of the month, but it's also one of the fastest moving bottles of whiskey and almond in recent history. This one vanished twice through.
Thank you.
Twice through. I think at least 2 bottles have been emptied at the whiskey and almond just due to members and guests coming in and trying this. Cracking value, 24-year-old whiskey here, and in the underrated category of grain whiskey. We can talk a bit more about what grain whiskey is and what it means, but I think we should have a nose at this next whiskey.
I remember when I first tried this one a couple months ago now, and it blew me away. Like it was really something else. Anyone who was thinking about getting this whiskey and hasn't, do not sleep on it, because it's just so syrupy and delightful. The fact that it's a grain is just irrelevant. It's just a really tasty whiskey.
I agree. I'll freely admit I am a bit reticent with grain just because it's not usually my flavour profile of choice. A bit like, we've got members who don't like particular spirit types as much as other types. That's totally fine. Everyone's palate's unique.
That's you saying you don't like rum. Just admit it, mate.
We don't have a rum in the lineup tonight. I'm happy. Some of our rums have even converted me, to be fair.
We kept a bottle of hot shots for you, though.
Oh, they are. Hot shots is actually not that bad. Not that bad for me. Probably amazing for rum lovers. But this one is also, even though I can pick it as grain, I would say, like, what else is around that in terms of the quality of spirit, the flavours you get out of it, make it. I'd be happy to buy bottles of this.
No, it's something special, and so it's a further maturation in first of all HTMC.
Oh, man, I love it. I'm nosing it again now, and I think what it doesn't on the tin, like the name of it, is just 100% right.
Yeah, it smells to me as if Krishna from Basic Chocolates has done a take on a Terry's chocolate orange.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
That orange peel, but nice, like dark, real chocolate as well.
Yeah.
Without being too like fake chocolatey.
Great call. Personal story for me, but like when I was a younger kid and your parents were deciding and your grandparents were deciding whether you wanted the peel on like apples, whether you liked apple peel or not. And like my nan could take the whole peel off an apple in one spiral. And then, the grandkids who liked the peel ate the peel raw, if you know what I mean. And the ones who didn't want the peel just ate the apple. And I love peel. I think all the flavors just under the skin of an apple. This is all that to me. It's just that really intense apple skin, kind of fresh apple skin.
Red apple skin sort of, and exactly. Terry's chocolate.
But it does, to Zach's point, have a really nice cocoa element for sure.
Just for those who are maybe newer to all of this and what this means, the G codes for us are grain whiskies. So G9.9 means this is the 9th grain whiskey distillery we've worked with, and only the 9th ever cask we've ever seen from this distillate. And when you see something that says single grain, it doesn't mean it's one grain type. It doesn't mean it's just wheat or rye or whatever, or corn. It just means that it's all from one distillery. A bit like single malt could use different malt. A lot of single malts use different malt mash bills and use different types of malt, like chocolate malt, pale malt, etc., like that. But it could be many grains in this, but it's from one. It's all grain whiskey, meaning it could also have barley in it, but it's also in this case, this is in almost 100% wheat.
Yep.
Got some comments coming through. Dove, not my flavor profile really, but it isn't bad. Well, I appreciate you trying something different. Mark, I helped drink some of those 2 bottles of whiskey and almond. You're doing God's work, son. Betty Petrie, not to my taste either, but it's whiskey. That's a good way to look at it.
Sure is.
And then Mark, is this 100% malt through their column still?
No, that's G15. G9s are the wheat through the copper column that you don't see. Which just it doesn't exist. Like it exists, but they won't really want you to look at it. It's in a different sort of room to the right of the distillery.
In the factory.
The non OH and S area. Correct. So, but it's it's I don't know if it's 100%, but it's as close to 100% organic wheat as possible. And
just to Betty and Dov and Howard, obviously I said it myself just before, so I can't criticize you at all. But when you say it's not to your taste, do you mean that the spirit is not to your normal style, or do you mean you don't like the taste? Because I think to me, I'd distinguish that. I'd say it's not my normal drinking spirit, but I love the taste. So if you want to repost whether you like this whiskey or not, let us know. Because I think certainly a bit like with other spirits, you can say, oh, it's not my normal category, it's not my normal go-to style, but I love the flavour, and that's this one for me.
It's so bright on the palate. It's like
I agree there.
all of that citrus still fresh and bright and zesty on the tongue.
Yeah,
really yummy.
Lachlan says it's the best G9 I've had to date.
Out of what, 3?
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is G9.9.
It's the best. It's the best. That's the important thing.
It's the
That's
best.
cool. And we've had quite a few through. We've had like, I remember G9.5 at one point and G9.3. So we've had a few through. But I just
I think they
don't
were both bold code, weren't they, Bailey? The old
yeah, they were, or G9.3 was red code.
Yeah.
I don't know about the .5, or I can't remember the last one. Maybe we did have G9.7, which was
good point. That was
a Caribbean. That was called like Caribbean banana fritters or something.
Yeah, more modern label. Yeah.
I knew Betty was going to say this. She's a peat freak. It's just not her
Betty.
style.
That's
That's fair. Respect
We're
that.
coming to you, Betty. Don't worry.
And Dove comes in with the spirit is not to my style, but for the style, but the flavor for the style is good.
Yeah, you enjoy the flavour. Yeah,
We should do an entirely peated virtual one time or something. Like exploring all the different types of peat, like what the peat plants did in a way, like exploring different types of peat bogs and different areas of peated whiskey. If we've got the stock to support it, we should look at doing that. That'd be fun. Yep. I've had quite a few from other companies, but this was spectacular. Oh, there you go. Like the flavor and depth you get from it. Howard, I respect that comment, but I would challenge that in a blind lineup. And I'm not saying you're wrong, and I genuinely agree with you that malt whiskey carries a heavier mouthfeel and thicker sort of texture to it. And flavor depth is probably what you mean by that, sort of like mouth texture and maybe length of finish, but one-dimension taste. Okay. I'll just agree with you on the one-dimensional taste, but I still think it's like, I think on a blind lineup, you'd struggle to say that's, you might not even pick that as a grain whiskey in a blind lineup.
If it was in a, sorry, I was just quickly, if it wasn't a blind lineup, I'd probably think it was a rye whiskey, to be quite honest. For me, it reminds me of a rye whiskey quite a bit.
There's a touch of spice. I think the thing that throws it, I think probably for a lot of members, is this is 24 years old, sitting at 61% too. So you've got a reasonably high ABV for age.
Yeah.
And you see it with some grains. But yeah, no, if you're sort of drinking this and thinking, oh, it's not to my palate, again, I don't want to, just happens that the first two are relevant to this conversation. I think the third one will be too. But yeah, add a bit of water, see if it brings out something, because you could put a fair few drops in this, dilute it to equivalent 55%, and I think I think you'll be loving that fruit flavor without maybe the 61% that sort of drives the grain quality of it.
We had a grain whiskey through the society some years ago that was a 40-year-old grain, and I think it was called Touched by Midas.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
and it was 58.9%.
Yeah, incredible.
Pains those cruise.
Mark just giving another shout out to the Tas members whose packs didn't make it in time. But Mark, did your pack not make it in time?
Let us know. We know a few Tasmanians who ordered this and maybe did not arrive in time. The Australia Post is probably you got to give them some credit, but they're absolutely up against the wall at this time of year.
Yeah, Dov, you'll enjoy the next few drams then.
Yeah, I would see Mafia.
Howard Ware, I've had the same issue with bourbon. It lacks the depth of a malt. Interesting. Interesting.
Spirit. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think it's fair to say this is probably the most divisive whiskey we've had on a live stream in quite a while.
Good,
to be honest. Which is good fun.
Yeah, why not?
I still love it as much as when I first tasted it, purely just because I enjoy the flavor. But it's nice to see everyone not always saying, yes, we just love this whiskey because it's SMWS. So it's good to have opinions,
It's also not rum, so win.
No, or hot shots.
I will clarify, some of our rums are very, very nice. It's an in-joke for those who are joining us for the first time.
Yeah. Alex hates rum.
Yeah. I'm not a pirate. Whatever.
In case it wasn't, yeah. Either way.
We do have some single malts to taste, though.
We do. We do. Should we steer into familiar territory?
So 105.53. Flat iron steak tikka kebab.
What a name.
Sweet. This would be called side by side with the grade because they're both in the same profile. But both very, very different whiskies.
And let's unpack that name. I mean, there is a lot going on in that panel name model. Like, a lot of flavors in flat iron steak tikka.
I actually get like pepper sauce steak on this one straight away. Like,
I think almost like a steak freeze. The flat iron is where I'm going to. The tikka, I think I'm searching for.
wow.
I'm getting like a maple syrup, like a really sort of thick maple syrup sauce somewhere in that steak pan.
Yeah, like a glaze when you reduce down the pan.
That's right. That's exactly right.
It's 3.6. Yeah, this is a monster proof on it.
David and Carolyn Taylor, Evening Legends, thank you for joining us as always.
Your legends, welcome.
Mark, I'm with Morsey on the rums. Well, that's just your opinion, man.
Yeah, man.
When the spirits in the cake was a rum. Yes, it was.
It was Dov.
And
Spirits.
I didn't get a cake, Dov.
and we've got a rum coming out this Friday as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. Unless you went to the Brisbane Christmas party, in which you've already tasted it. But 105.53. 105's a kind of it's a cool code because it's almost got a cult following. I mean, the last one we saw was the Whispers of Spring 105, which we got very few of them in the country, and they all just went into the bundle packs.
Which, by the way, for those who had a chance to try it at various tastings, was phenomenal.
Oh, it was.
Oh my
I
god!
just wish I could have got
There's
a bottle
still
of
one
that.
left.
Yeah.
Oh, see, now I'm getting like oregano and salt. Whilst
Oregano?
it's still on the pan. Yeah.
Oregano.
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 Origami.
Oh, like vitamins or yogurt.
Origami.
Origami.
Ozempic. We're getting
Right,
Ozempic.
just checking. Pepper and pepper. Yeah.
Howard, pepper and pepper. Yep.
White pepper, black pepper, pink pepper. All of the above.
Let us know.
It's peppery, but I think remembering this is most of its life in bourbon, and then with a bit of PX, I think the red fruit is coming through, which is always a benefit. I think I'm a big fan of sort of hashtag refill bourbon. Clean casts are great, but sometimes when you're missing a little bit of mid palate or you need a little bit extra, and you want a bit of red fruit or something, a good extra maturation or finish in a carefully done sherry cask, good. And I think this is an example of that. I think this would have been a little bit. It's fine.
This was 6 years.
Yeah, I was about to say.
PX.
This was 4 in bourbon and 6 PX.
Oh, 6
It was
in
a
the
4.
pen.
So this is a rare almost
Finish
reverse
is
of what
the
we usually
opposite.
There you go.
Backwards finish.
Backwards finish whiskey. And it is worth noting.
I'm reading that now. Sorry, you're dead right. There you go. Didn't pick it. I wouldn't have picked that. I would have thought a very touch of the PX just because the bourbon's quite clean, as in it feels, fresh and very vanillic. I would have called it like our standard style, but there you go.
Betty, plenty of pepper. I think the general consensus is there's a lot of pepper on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that nose tingle
But
white pepper.
There is that sweetness though. Like I'm still getting that sort of caramelized, glazed syrup, maple syrup sort of note.
Well, now thanks to Zach pointing it out, it makes a lot more sense. I'm getting heaps of that red fruit because I was thinking it was pretty strong for what I assumed was sort of a 2-year. But yeah, with that flip, that makes a lot of sense that it's heavy on the fruit with the PX being longer.
Okay, here's a question. So as people say, obviously it's do whatever you want, but the general rule has usually been, from what I've heard, if it's a sherried cask, you shouldn't add water to it because it's a bit more delicate. Now, what if it's something like this, where it's 4 years bourbon, 6 years sherry cask?
I would say wrong anyway.
Okay.
Just as a, every cask is different.
Yep.
Judge it by
You can't make any blanket rules.
correct.
Exactly.
I would agree with that.
rule of thumb.
But what would you do though with this one?
I've added water.
I've added water. I looked at I nosed it first and went, there's quite a prickle on that. And it's also it's quite vibrant in the glass, and a few drops of water isn't going to hurt this one. It's each to their own. I think I've added a drop of water to mine as well. I mean, this distillery is going through a bit of a cult resurgence, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that in coming years from these guys. And it's cool to see some. I mean, we've got some like Adam mentioned. We had the Whispers of Spring, the 105.55, and then things like this, which is a lot younger, but also really good to see that spirit character. And I think even after all that messing around, even after 4 + 6 years, it's still got a lovely spirit character to it. It's still actually shining in spirit. I think it's drawn out at the right time.
I think this one needs a bit more time in glass. Sorry.
I agree with you. I was going to say, I think you're actually right. I think your point is probably true in as far as definitely the sherry kind of almost masks the nose prickle. But once I palate this one, it's the 63.5% kind of shows through. Whereas on the nose, I'd struggle to call this that high. So I'm happy to put a bit of water in for the palate. but I think the nose doesn't need it. I mean, it smells amazing without water. But now I've tried it. Yeah, a few drops definitely for the palate will help it, in my opinion.
I'll just give a quick shout out to Mark for plugging our next Hobart event, which is on the 20th of December. And there are still tickets left. Not that many, though. They are actually going quite fast. So if you haven't already, jump on that. Jump on the Perth Christmas party, which I believe is the 21st, the day later. And if you haven't grabbed your Burn Supper tickets yet for Brisbane and Tasmania in Hobart, New Sydney Hotel, grab them as well. Brisbane's going fast, and Sydney's just to be announced next week. So keep an eye.
Melbourne TBC on that front.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
That's a very good 105.
This is another distillery where you don't get to see it in the spotlight very often.
No.
It's been relegated to blends for quite a long time, and only recently have they taken control back of their own single malt. So we will see some more of this in coming years, but the style is likely to change as well. So it'll be interesting to watch.
Amazing. I think, yeah.
Blanket rule from Teague there.
Blanket rule number one.
OBs are pants. Prove me wrong. I can't prove you wrong. I'm gonna have to link it. You can keep that one. I bought the first Brisbane Burns ticket again. Good to see, Dov.
Amazing. Thank you.
It's
That's
a spicy meatball.
That's definitely a spicy and sweet.
I think Zach, you pointed out a very good thing there, because I sort of read the details, but not the tasting notes at the end there, and I think this is one of those examples where, when the society has maturation control, which we do with most of the things we do now, you can do some pretty cool, like non-standard things with it. I think it'd be very rare for any other brand, product, whatever, to do that 4 years bourbon, 6 years PX. Usually sherry's a reserve for that very last component. And I still don't think it's that strong for having done that ratio. So it just shows, you've got to judge everything you do by the cask you use, and then assess it all individually, because you go, sherry cask, done, 2 years, just wrap it up. But if the sherry cask is of a type that needs the 6, that's when you need the experts in to decide it.
When you have more control over your product and you're not just doing it by the numbers, you're waiting for the cask to be ready rather than filling a checkbox.
Dead right.
And for me, with a bit of water, this one is opening up into sweetness more so. So that savoriness that we had on the palate at first with the pepper and the steak is really opening into like milk chocolate and maybe even chocolate covered strawberries kind of sweetness.
That's still quite potent on the palate for me, as opposed to the nose, which is beautiful and gentle. I think that would, for anyone who's buying a bottle of this or has a bottle of this, I think that would work beautifully neat, but also, and with a bit of water, or in your glass neat, but also would work in highballs and things, because that can cope. The flavour would carry through with almost being drowned in water. That's a potent spirit.
Shall we go into the realm of deep, rich, and dried fruits? The old honey lemon to popcorn.
We also seem to be going up in proof here, which is kind of scary, because it was just about 66% for this next one as well.
And up at 80%.
I think I've got a photo of it. Yes, there it is in the corner there.
It is.
So this one's a 11-year-old from Distillery 30. And
very exciting. The first time I nosed this, I actually said it was actually like honey lavender popcorn.
It's quite fragrant. But I think
absolutely on the nose with the name on this one.
Well, it's Oloroso into Bodega Oloroso. So seasoned Oloroso cask into a ex Bodega Oloroso hoggy. It's quite nice. Betty, sorry, I haven't been to function in a while. The cost to get there, accommodation extra opens, enjoy the burns dinner. That's right, Betty. You know, we know not everyone can make them, which is why we do the virtual tastings.
Okay.
So much lavender on the nose for me.
Oh,
That's so
isn't there? Isn't there?
floral.
That's like when Viognier is in a wine. You know, it's just like beautifully aromatic on top of what's going on in the glass.
Mm. It's beautiful. I need to actually pour myself a glass of this one though. Honey lavender popcorn.
I get the popcorn actually.
Yeah, I love that popcorn note in it.
For me, the first time I had it was so much lavender.
I'm enjoying this way too much.
So good.
It's so stupid.
So good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, buttered popcorn. The butter is actually there too, Howard. I agree. Like it is very popcorny compared to the first time I had this.
It's the you know what it is? It's that really sugary salted caramel maple popcorn that you get, you know, just like a supermarket or something like that. It's just really
I'll do you one better, Ads. I reckon for those who are as old as me, my dad used to bring me back like that coloured popcorn from somewhere. He used to get it from.
Yes,
like
and it was like multicolored, like the purple and the blue.
Yeah, it was in bags of it, and it's that kind of like the overly sugared popcorn.
Yeah, no, it's for me, it's exactly that.
Yeah, it's got so much. It's very clearly distillery 30. Does that make sense? Like it's
definitely.
Every distillery 30, no matter the age or anything, I always get like boiled lollies in a still. As in like those old school boiled lollies, but out of a copper still. Those hard lollies, those
burnished something about it.
Burnished copper sort of lollies, almost like
dead right.
I can't just. It's hard candy. I get a hard candy in every 30, regardless of age or cask.
And I'll tell you what, regardless of the ABV, I mean, it copes with high ABV. It just copes so well with high ABV, just 330.
No, it doesn't drink like that at all. We had this. You may remember, in fact, as a preview just a few days ago at the Melbourne Christmas party, and this along with the other deep rich and dried fruit, the flamenco dancers coffee break were a hit, but I think the honey lavender popcorn was a standout out of the two.
Comment from Dov. I just want to address that one real quick. It's a good dram, but it doesn't hold a candle to the 30.94. Who remembers that dram? That was Riding a Duck, bareback up Mount Etna. I remember that whiskey very well, only because I still have a bottle of that. That was a phenomenal whiskey. It was a 9-year-old, a little bit younger than this one. Yeah, it was a 9-year-old Oloroso, I think, from memory.
Yep.
And it was about the same proof. It was about 66% or something. That was a brutal whiskey, and it was phenomenal. But yes, I think it's actually very similar, Dov. I think it's one of these brutal, big, deep rich and dried fruit 30s, and I think it's I think comparable, if not better, in some ways.
Oh, very much agree. I think there was even one. It was one of the ones similarly worded, but not the same name. Something like Worth Hunting Down or like Worth Seeking Out. One of those ones. That was like a 67 point something percenter that we had at Whiskey Abbey, not this year, but the year before.
I remember
that was Worth Hunting Down, yeah.
Yeah, Worth Hunting Down, I think it was. And everyone came up and was like, "It is like this is dangerously drinkable. It drinks like 50%."
Yeah.
But it's almost 70. So yeah, the 30s hold their ABV very well.
I'm not sure.
Still has presence on my palate, I would say. I've added a little bit of water, and it doesn't dilute the flavor at all.
Dov's just, that's right. That was it, Dov. Yep.
Barley sugars from Lockie there's right. That's Worth Hunting Down. Yeah, I bought that one too. Yeah, the 30s, these deep rich and dried fruit 30s, they're just such good fun. And they're brutal. They're like, as Alex said, 66, 67, 69% ABV. Some of them come out.
Yeah.
So they're so much fun.
It's also worth noting this is a not so your typical 70 and 30% maturation, in that this was it 5 years? No, 6 years, but then the 5 years in the bodega sherry cask.
Yeah. So and as you're saying there, Adam, too, sherry into sherry. So
sherry
not
to sherry, yeah.
You know, and it copes very well with that. I think often we find I personally love bourbon cask into sherry because you don't get the oversaturation. You get a lovely vanilla base, you know, with say 10 years in bourbon, whatever it is, and then a sherry finish. This is sherry into sherry.
Yes.
And I would say still not overly saturated with sherry character.
I mean,
I'd heavily sherried, but
yeah, I don't think it's oversaturated, but it's definitely it's heavily sherried.
if you want a sherry bomb,
God
damn. Yeah.
Well, we've had a couple of sherry bombs this over this our turn. I think the absolute sherry bomb, the ultimate cherry bomb, is coming out on Friday. Actually, the Distillery 2, which, if anyone remembers, Marmalade Matured Cognac, the Distillery 35 20-year-old sherry into sherry, which was literally just looked like dark treacle and was the thickest, syrupiest sherry dram you'll ever have. This non-calorific nonchalance.
Non-calorific nonchalance. No, calorific
nonchalance.
Calorific chalance.
Calorific.
The Distillery 2 DRDF.
It's a 2. It's a Distillery 2.
Is coming out, Jesus, on Friday in 2 days' time. You will want to buy a bottle of that because that is just pure, dark, deep, rich. That is a sherry bomb as you've never known. But anyway, enough about that. Back to honey lavender popcorn.
It's developing a lot more classic sherry notes for me. Lots of that like saturated sultana sort of vibe. Really rich fruit.
General says this is my favorite at the Xmas party. Melbourne, I'm waiting on Stav's phone. Yes. Yep. So a top pick from the Christmas party. Thanks for tuning in.
Teague's commenting. He might be the only one to have noticed or cared about it.
Did anyone else notice other than maybe Teague? The
same T-shirt. Did their coordinate their wardrobes today? Yeah.
Who was standing next to who before? Write in if you know.
Yeah.
We'll swap back just because Zach's left his drams here for this purpose of this gag. Like, you realize how uncoordinated this is.
No, I'm drunk all day.
Alex, what was going through your mind when you got up this morning, and you put on that T-shirt? Tell us.
You don't have to do it off camera. Come on, guys. Here we go.
Here we go. We're going to do it.
You do it. Go do it. Come on, swap back. Zach's left his drams here. Come on. No one picked up on that joke well enough. Folks, this was a coordinated effort of swapping hosts live on camera.
Literally, no one
try and mess with
you.
No, it really worked.
But we've done.
You
didn't love it. We've learned. We won't do it again.
I mean, the only reason we swap back is because everyone knows that mine and Alex's banter is the best.
We have the ability to,
and that's why we're here.
Yeah. So their bit goes badly, we just X that room
because Alex is really loud when he talks.
I am loud.
And banter means just saying a lot of words. Sorry, just a
lot
of words. Yeah, exactly.
You like a
quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity. That's what Zach and I are about.
That's what the SMWS is about.
Didn't even hear it.
Sorry, yeah, just
where flavor comes alive.
Amen to that. Good.
We've moved on already. Well, we're already on to the next dram.
Did you even pour a honey lemon to popcorn?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Well,
you got half of mine.
Oh yeah, nice.
I walked out with my delicious 105 and then realised I needed it for the gag. So Matt
for the fashion. Steer pike.
You just here for the fashion, yeah. You leave fashion, just 3 in uniform and 1 rogue.
Also, though, in all seriousness, yes, Zach's mum and my mum do speak on a regular basis about what we wear to work.
Good, very good. We made it. All right, shall we move on to whiskey number 4?
We should. Better finish this one. We didn't have 7 glasses.
We should. Well, the only sad thing to say about this next one is it's the only one that's not available, right? The rest of the delicious stuff we're having is readily available. The next one is just here for your drinking pleasure and because it's fantastically delicious.
I'm muting your comment, Mark. Cask 52.48. This is malt of the month. This is sea salt and Szechuan pepper. And it is well and truly sold out.
Yeah.
You know, Adam, every now and again, you get those drams.
Just reverse it in your mind.
Flip it, team. Those drams that people talk about for ages.
Yes.
You know, they go like, oh, you remember that one I had at this bar? And like, oh, you know, we're getting that again and blah, blah, blah. I feel like already this is legendary. We're already getting posts about it. People going, oh, I had it we're getting on a virtual and like, does anyone else have it? Whiskey and Almond are out of it or something.
So many people came up to us at Whiskey Abbey being like, "Oh, do you have any?
Yeah.
Do you have this? Do you have this?" It's like, no,
It's
unfortunately, we had it on the first day and it sold out instantly. As in, we poured it out. Yeah, quickest kill.
Its reputation precedes it everywhere.
Matt, you've been called out.
Yeah, look, I've got big hair again.
Helmet hair
Happens every 2 weeks. Helmet hair, actually, a little bit. Yeah,
helmet hair. Yeah.
Look, it does happen. And Mark's admitting to buying 2 of these 52s, and I have 0 go. Like I would have bought 2 myself. This is just great whiskey. And as Adam was saying, it's sort of, Alex is saying a bit of cult status already. People are already posting about it, saying, did you get one of these? I think we just have to just take a moment to just appreciate how the fact that we can get access to single cask strength spirit from Wick. It's they don't come through very often. We don't see this distillery much in Australia anymore. Ever since they got dumped by the distribution got sort of finished up, and so it's sort of like there's not really much access to this at the moment. So I think that's one of the reasons it vanished. And if you like the oily and coastals, and if you love this distillery, which I know I do,
it's actually a great point, Matt, that even this distillery, pre any issues, was already probably pretty low on the OB front. It wasn't sort of one of those ones that never had an OB.
No,
but it was very rarely found in OB form. So
in Australia at least, yeah.
In Australia, definitely, yeah, that's right. So yeah, to get it is pretty cool, and to get it this good is very cool.
I mean, Betty pretty much sums it up. Damn, it's nice.
Correct.
Yes, it is.
I wouldn't recommend adding water to that one. I added just a little bit, but it didn't need it.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it needs it. We have had a drop, 66 to 55.4. It's come down a lot.
I'm curious to see if that sort of Greek yogurt note that I had the first time is still there, because this was not your typical, or for me at least, your typical sort of 93 or even Distillery 4 oily and coastal, in that it's very salty and seaweedy. It was very much a almost a savory with a light dusting of salt and sort of almost like cheese sharpness.
The big thing on that, Adam, is that this distillery is one of the underground ones that still uses a worm tub.
Yeah, right.
That thick, rich, meaty spirit, which in this case translates into that oily richness, and it pushes those more savory notes, which I think is great. I think, and that's part of why I love the spirit.
Yeah, this is that. Just to your point, I think this is that milkier cowfish kind of. The lactose is so present, but it's got the salinity, the coastal. It's like a salted Greek yogurt or natural yogurt.
Yeah, like it's got a bit of salt, but for me, I didn't get much coastal on it.
Yeah, not rock pool.
Yeah, not much salinity, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dov, enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you for tuning in, and feel free to rewatch later. Be safe downstairs.
That's good.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. It's as good as I remember. It's also very, very warming, like a sort of that rush of like almost seawater coating your mouth, which I get in very few drams. But
the Sichuan pepper is an interesting call too, because obviously for those who love Sichuan food, that's got the numbing thing. That's got the very you can't mistake that flavor. This almost has like it almost has that. It almost has like a slight something on the sides that just makes you think. It's got like a tingle of a numbing sensation, which I think is where the panel was going, but obviously it's not sort of quite doing that. But it's reminiscent of that flavor, definitely.
Howard Ware says, this is not a classic 52 taste though, but it is delicious. That it is. And Mark with the Distillery 52 has a flat top still too, I think. Feel free to chime in.
Are you thinking of Dalmore?
Mark, are you thinking of Dalmore?
And there's one of it's one of those others. It's like Cardew or something that has a flat top as well. I can't remember.
I feel like this particular one has a fairly swan necky
traditional sort of.
Yeah, I thought so too, Zach. It is built into the buildings, because it's one of those ones that's built into the framework of the town. But I agree. I thought it was a bit. I didn't think it was a flat, but yeah,
you could be right. I'm not sure.
Just on that though, I will do a very quick detour just in terms of the flat top, and then Zach, you said Delmore, and just a quick shout out to our chairman, Andrew Durbidge, who did a fantastic video on our Delmore release last week, which was Thick and Fast Frills. If you haven't seen that on our YouTube channel, go and check it out because it's got some great imagery and some in-depth knowledge about the distillery and everything. So just feel free to check that out. Mark Delmore does, but 52 was chopped to
I think
fit.
that's probably right because I mean we've both been there, but yeah, it's fitted into the building, that row of almost what were townhouses kind of equivalent in width before it was fully developed. So I can see that. I thought Zach had a bit more of a swan.
I think the
cut to fit.
The jacket as well.
But the I think is also downward tilting quite a bit, so it captures some of those heavier flavors, which can be some of that numbing flavor for you, Alex, but also some of those heavier flavors.
Great one, mate. Great
as well.
It often ends up in our heavier, sort of the oily part of the oily and coastal because heavier spirit weight.
Well, the last 52 I remember us getting, which was maybe like 3 years ago, was when John McShane was here.
Oh yeah.
And it was a young and sprightly. It was young and sprightly, and it was beautiful because it tasted like that sort of salted caramel popcorn.
Do you remember the name on that one? I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember it, and it's on the tip of my tongue, and I just can't complete it. But it was definitely young and sprightly. It definitely tasted like caramel popcorn because I remember kept saying I was going to buy one, and I never did. It's long gone now.
The great comment.
Yeah. That was a couple of years ago.
We'll find it later, Matt. Mark says that 13 is a cracker too. That it is.
Yeah.
I think there's no denying this is an incredible dram, and everyone always loves to see an oily and coastal come back to
insane dram.
That's not the one I'm thinking of, but that was also
like
a one in the same sort of with an E, exactly right. It was SEINE, I believe.
Exactly.
Get it? It's a play on words.
Oh, it's like that's what it is. It's not just a misspelling.
Howard Ware, the wash still is a flat on top. The spirit still is normal.
Thank you, Howard. So we're all that's perfect.
We were all half right.
Not to fit. We're all right.
Yeah.
Everybody wins a prize with that. That's great. Consolidation.
That's a good one. Well done.
Shall we journey to a new distillery code
No,
for
because
us?
then you see Betty gets a peated. That's the problem. If we do the next one, she's going to get the peated.
Betty, are you okay if we have a peated dram next?
You ready for
Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, I think she'll be fine. She'll probably be fine with it.
Yeah. Okay. I should finish this then. Yeah.
Yeah, 52 is fantastic. And again, worth noting, look at the coding system. 48 casks in 40-ish years. Not many through. So it's kind of cool when we do get them. It's a bit of fun right there.
Well, even the fact that the last ones we got in Australia was, 2-3 years ago. That's a huge gap.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gap, This next whiskey, I might just take a moment to introduce because we haven't, this is a new code, 163. So we're up to 163.x now, as in like the 163rd distillery to join the society. We've worked a bit differently with this distillery.
That didn't turn out how I intended it to. Keep going.
There's some production issues here. Adam's on the decks. It's okay. Here we go. There we go.
There you go.
You can have yourself still back on screen. Don't worry.
No, that's fine. I'll sacrifice. It's fine.
Oh, sacrifice. No, I was going to say 163. Sorry, is a distillery which is quite hard to get to. It is on the Isle of Harris. And we worked very closely with this distillery in both cask selection, spirit procurement, and also in terms of they filled every bottle on site at the distillery for us. And that was one of their requirements of working with them, which we were sort of a bit like, oh, that's unusual. But then you go, okay, now you can see why they do it. So every bottle of society bottle that you ever hold or have has been bottled by us at SMWS at our warehouse south of Glasgow. But this one was bottled on site at distillery 163 on the Isle of Harris, which I'm not saying the distillery name, but it's very cool because that meant that it's employment on the islands is quite scarce and quite well protected, and if it meant that gave their bottling hall 4 or 5, 6 days worth of work of bottling the first few casks for ours, that was really important to them as well. So it's a lot of communities and a lot of community effort, community spirit, and just good relationship with these guys that makes makes this all possible. And the first 4 have been bottled up as lightly peated 6-year-olds. They're all identical in spec, but all very different in flavour, from using different wood source supplies of different types of ex-bourbon casks from the US. I can't tell you which one this one particular is unless it has it in the tasting notes. I don't think it does.
No.
But yeah, you'll nose this and your eyes will read it and go, oh, it's only 6 years old, it's not ready. Have a nose and taste of that, and you'll realise that what's coming out of Scotland and the New World distilleries, like your 149s, your 162s, the ones, all that kind of stuff. It's like there's a lot of really good young spirit coming out now. It's really vibrant, really ready to go. And these lightly peated casks, I think, are just fantastic. I think it's one of the best whiskies we've had all year.
Matt, I've just I'll throw up some photos, and you can probably narrate a few of them just quickly. So here we've got, I mean, this one's Richard Goslin, who fronts our Unfiltered magazine in the UK at the distillery. I'm not sure who he's talking to off the top of my head, but here,
I think that's Lauren from the distillery. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's her. And then if you go to the next one, you've got Richard on the right there. You've got Kai, our spirits director, on the far left, and then you got Callum Lawson, a head of member experience, over in the middle there, and they're chatting with I can't remember her name. She's the head blender for.
Yes, she I can't remember her name as well, but it's if you jump onto our blog, Whiskey Wise, it's all in there.
Yeah.
And here, as you were just describing, Matt, this is this is it. This is exactly what you were just describing. This is the bottling
literally
hall
on the production line, in their warehouse, filling our bottles, which is so good to see, because as you can even just see from that photo, there's at least 5, 6, probably 7 people on bottling hall that day, which means that's a week's worth of work going through for our first 4 or 6 casks or whatever it was.
And I don't want to be too romantic about this either, but everyone in the chat, but like, how crazy is it that we are drinking Isle of Harris whiskey, which is pretty much the most impossible location for someone in Australia to get to.
Yeah.
Like, the antipode is basically Tasmania to Isle of Harris, and you are the furthest distance humans can go on this planet.
And we've made that trek to bring that stock in here for our members, I love that fact. I love it. We've got this branch down under that we can bring this stuff in and really enjoy it with members. 163.2 is the best of the 4 modern Scottish distillery bottlings we've seen in the past 12 months, in my humble opinion.
I have to say, Matt, too, your point around the 6 years thing, I think, is really important, because obviously, historically, the older the better, or whatever, at various points in time, people look for age. But then I think there's the new world distilleries, or the new era of old world distilleries as well. They make whiskey taste more mature and more developed and more layered in a shorter amount of time. And it's almost universal. We get comments all the time, particularly in Melbourne here. That is all I can really vouch for. I'm sure the other state managers think the same, but we get comments, how do you get bottlings that are, between 5 and 7 that taste like they're 20-year-old Scotch whiskies? And a lot of the time it's the late Jim Swan methods of doing so, or using certain oaks. Some of our other bottlings have chinkapin, which is a bit more of that sort of developed.
A lot of it is wood. It's wood policy.
Correct. It's just, but you get this way of doing it with that really attention to wood policy and the way you make your run, or where you cut your run, and all those different things.
And fermentation time as well.
Exactly. That just make the, age is now, 6-year-old doesn't mean anything if your flavor profile preference is for heavily peated, blah, blah, blah. Like, look at where the flavor says it lies, because it's likely to be true.
Your palate will tell you all you need to know.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, like
Exactly.
that's the most important thing.
You've got a lot of experience with this distillery, I should say.
Yeah, from its inception, actually, I've worked closely with these guys, and as you were saying, the social distillery, as they call themselves, was started not because they thought the island needed whiskey, but because the island needed jobs. And this tiny little island up past Skye has only about 1,500 people living on it, and the distillery employs 50 of them. So it's like, what is that, like 3%? Quick maths, which is pretty huge, in fact, for one employer to support that percentage of the whole island. And it's really important for them to bring people back to the island and to keep supporting their people there. So it's good at the SMWS to be able to work with them that way.
Awesome point, mate. And it's actually very reminiscent for those members who remember, sort of like Jim McEwen would always wax lyrical about Brooke Laddie hired something similar, 5-10% of the total population of Isla, which was probably about 3,000 when he was talking about it. But because the distilleries are such important lifeblood of those areas, and then you've got these islands they probably actually had a distillery back in the days before you were, when you were illicitly distilling or whatever, but now we have the licensed ones employing a lot of people who would otherwise be leaving the area. So yeah, it's the Brooke Laddie story and the Isla story is now being replicated on Harris, Rase, Aaron having a second in the form of Lag, the islands developing distilleries. So it's really good to see.
I'll throw up a few comments from the last few minutes here. Darren Howie, thanks for tuning in, even though you've got the flight ahead back home. But I hope you and Carla have a good Christmas as well.
Merry Christmas.
Hope to see you in the new year.
Take great photos, gents.
Oh, he always does.
Your little group up there.
About time the Pete came out. Yes, well said. And hardware with the underlying spirit comes through nicely. I get stone fruits coming through. I can see, I'm not sure if I can pick the stone fruits, but I can definitely, there's some sort of sweetness coming through in the back palate for me.
Yeah.
Now that it's had a bit of time in glass.
I'm getting a bit of that peach, like a light kind of stone fruit.
Matt, one for you.
This is distillery while in Scotland. No, I did not actually get over to the Isle of Harris. I spent a bit of time in Skye, and I had a choice near the end there to either get over to Harris or get over to Rase, and I chose Rase. It was just a sort of a matter of actually it normally comes down to ferry schedules that decide where you end up going to go, but and flat tires in my case. But it was no, it was good. By the way, yeah, if you get a chance to get over to Rase, it's a stunning part of the world. Cool. I love that. I love that whiskey. I think it's
cool whiskey.
Really, really good.
It's a very light ash, a little bit of sweetness coming through, like just in the barest of tasting notes.
I think as well, the other thing that is awesome is that with these sort of new wave of the old world distilleries, we're getting more peat. Like for ages, we had sort of like a limited run of, if it wasn't an Isla or an island, we were sort of like, yep, well, there's no more peat coming from anywhere. Oh, then there's a bit of Highland peat crept in. And now we're seeing, because everyone's ratio is always quite heavily non-peated. They're just distilleries in the world, majority are unpeated. And now we're seeing a massively new crop of well-peated whiskies. So for the peat heads in the society, look out for new codes.
I do say this is about history repeating itself. Throughout history, we've seen ups and downs in peated demand and in production. So I think this is sort of where we're still in the upswing right now of peated whiskey demand. And you've all seen the what was it called, the Bow Spay advertising from the late 1800s in my office of the sort of when Bowmore Distillery was selling unpeated spirit in 1902 or whatever it was. So it's like that's cool, because they were trying to cater for demands, and I think it's we've seen up and down throughout history of this stuff all the time. I think it's great.
Yeah,
it's history repeating itself in many ways.
It's also really cool. Just before we move on, finally, the difference of peat, because we've had this conversation, me and many members. We had lightly peated, and heavily peated, but obviously peat takes lots of different forms. You've got your medicinal peat, iodine peat. You've got campfire peat. You've got pure earthen peat, etc., etc. And I think these new distilleries, with their different way of peating or their different runs, even sourcing sometimes the same peated barley, but it's having a different effect, mean that peat heads have a different type of peat to experience, which has been not lacking in the industry, but we just haven't seen it. Bowmore's peating style probably hasn't changed in 50 years. But Freud's hasn't. So you need a bit of a new wave to give you a new type of peat.
You don't want to just produce the same thing.
No, we all want variety, flavour first, different peat.
Betty is signing off for the evening, just because all the peat's gone, I assume. It's fair enough.
Betty's seen there's no more peat after this. She's gone.
Hope you have a very lovely Christmas as well. Thank you again for tuning in to all our virtuals this year. And it'd be great to see you at an in-person event. One of us might even be there in person to greet you.
I've got a big pour of this one. Do you want some of mine?
Lachlan and Lucy also signing off. Good evening, good night.
Night, Lucy.
Good evening and good night.
And I think that sort of marks the the end. Oh, wait.
Doesn't though.
Oh,
Trickster.
7 drams.
And Adam's decision to throw in a nice Christmassy treat at the end of this virtual, I think was a good call. It's a good call.
A little Christmas treat, because the thing with this one, this peak sherry 78.92, is that it came out in the month where we didn't have a virtual. We did 1 month where we had no virtuals this year, and that's because there was a changeover with Susie, and new team coming in. God, look at that color. And we understand that not a lot of people were able to try this one. You know, if they didn't come to the Whiskey Champs in Melbourne, there are a few events in the months after around the country, but it's I thought it'd be a good treat. You know, something Christmassy. It's 5 years ex bourbon, 5 years ex sherry, Oloroso sherry off the top of my head from memory. Yes, Spanish oak.
Yep.
So, and we got the full allocation. So let's enjoy it. Just before we move on, though, I'll throw up this question. David and Carolyn Taylor, what is the most peated SMWS release?
Well,
there you go. That's a big question.
Alex,
for the archivist, perhaps.
Yeah. I'll just quickly jump in and say, generally, anything that falls into the heavily peated category would be considered quite heavily peated.
Yeah.
However, Alex might have a bit more of a.
No, I think you're
On
right.
what measure though? I mean, like,
on tech specs or on taste of smoke.
Yeah, like I think notionally on paper, the younger the Isla whiskey in the heavily peated profile. So I think probably the ones that I can recall are like 5-year-old to 6-year-old Lafroigs in the heavily peated profile.
Yeah,
were pure peat almost.
Yeah.
But then there'd be some hidden, depending on what we're talking about when we talk peat, there'd be some amazing 127s in there that were just, heavily peated Port Charlottes effectively. Who cares? I've said it to answer the question, but like they were amazing. They were before there was really Octomore. So you were arguably juggling, like the Octomore levels of peat in some of those early 127s. And I've had heavily peated Kalilas, but I just don't think they really stack up to the heavily peated young Lafroigs.
We bottled a 6-year-old 127. So a 6-year-old.
Yeah, they were insane.
PC6, if you were giving it another name.
That would have been something.
Yeah,
that would have been something.
Big. They were big. And even to be honest, like if you're actually measuring ppm, which we're not getting there, I don't think, David, Caroline, you were asking about, but like we had some amazing 33s that were also in sherry. And as we've discussed at a few of my Melbourne tastings, sherry can sometimes hide the peat level because it plays in the same space on your palate. But they were intensely peated drams. They were just also insanely sherried. So, you almost didn't spot it as well. But it was the marriage of peat and sweet was intense for those ones. But they were the sort of typically 8 to 10-year-old Arbecs, basically.
Yeah.
Your Ruid Moors from the peated Glen Turrets are up in like the 60, 70 ppm as well. But it doesn't show as well because it's like a Highland kind of peat.
Exactly. It's just
some of those were very big. Some of those 6 cents a bottle were very big share.
Especially this year, we had a big string just in the first half of the year where we had I think about 3 of them, and they're all similar stats, similar age statement, but very big, very peated. Even though they weren't heavily peated, they just were very, very smoky, very peated whiskeys. It was like Linctus glazed lamb and the salted caramel axle grease, and it was a draft bath.
They're always very
fantastic
food-related ones. Those ones, they're delicious.
Betty is still actually here. We misread your message, Betty. Welcome back.
Yeah, there's no more peak, Betty. If you misunderstood us,
but there is peak sherry whiskey. Howard Ware, the virtual pack sell out very quickly. Why can't you increase the number of packs if you don't sit in front of your computer at noon? They are gone. Well, it's sort of there's a few answers to that one. We do actually increase packs for some of them. Our Heresy Virtual, for example, had quite a few more packs than usual. It all just comes down to allocation of bottles and some other things, but something to consider for 2026.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt, just quickly. I think that's a really good point around how much we get in Australia, because we probably punch above our weight on access in Australia in general. You can see your little tasting mat here or your menu. Some are a bit lower. Some are sort of 30, 36, but that's global, guys. So like if we're opening bottles for packs
and still have bottles to sell, we're talking about liquid that the rest of the world's not really getting in any real quantity. So, you know, I feel you how 100%. It's always the constant, you know, gripe, and we all were there at one point wanting more access, but at the same time, like, packs are the way that we do it so that you can all share in it as much as we can without just purely selling the bottles. If we just sold the bottles, you know, the tasting range will be reduced to only 18 of you or 12 of you. So, yeah, we apologise for it, but it's just the nature of the fact that Australia sort of tries to get as much as we can. And then when we get sort of fewer, sometimes we divvy it up in the packs so you can all try it.
At the end of the day, every bottle is limited and unique. Like, you know, we're not a quantity company. We're you know,
unique.
Quality over quantity.
As somebody once
I
said.
didn't say the quality word. I didn't say the quality word.
Interesting.
That just goes without saying.
Yeah.
But
we feel you, man. We're with you, but yeah, it's just the nature of it.
Lachlan Watt, very happy with Peak Sherry. Yes, well, you should be. And because Lachlan Watt has also helped pick it. So, and Morsey said a distillery and code, 10 points deducted from Slytherin.
I'm a Ravenclaw. That's a fact.
Yes, me too.
78.92
is still on port. Hobart's premium partner bar, the New Sydney Hotel, under $20 for members. Sorry, guys, I was just talking over you.
You're good.
It's fine. 50 points from Gryffindor or whatever you are, T, for mentioning partner bars. Yeah, we can all do it.
But if you are in Hobart, get down to New Sydney Hotel because they have a lot of Society whiskey, and we'll be sharing just how much Society whiskey they have very soon because it's a staggering amount. But shall we jump into Peak Sherry now?
Let's do it. Peak Sherry.
Now, Matt, you've actually tried. Have you tried this whiskey?
I have.
Okay, because this was released when you weren't quite back in the country. Zach, you've definitely tried it because you were at the Australian Malt Whiskey Tasting Championship.
That's true. In the top 10.
Yes, that's true. Actually, I forgot you got into the taste offs. That's right. Very good. And for a bit of background for those
predate Zach.
It would look really bad if he'd won.
That does. Zach was not working.
Just putting that out there. Sorry, I didn't want to. We just hire the winner each time.
Anything like that. This bottle, 78.92, was selected by myself and Lachlan Watt earlier in this year to be bottled for the Australian Malt Whiskey Tasting Championships. The first one ever held in Melbourne, and I think it was our 34th year.
First of many to be held in Melbourne.
First of many, of course. Yes. And I think it was its 34th or 36th year ever being held, just in general. And we got the full allocation. It was a Hoggy yield, so 291 bottles landed in Australia. We still have just over 100 left, so that's well over half already sold in just a couple of months.
I've gone through 2 of these, and
beautiful.
It's so to point around drinkability. Like, I don't want to name too many distilleries and reveal too much because T's already pulled me up on it. But let's just say Distillery 78 in sherry is a pretty sort of iconic thing in the whiskey industry. Right? This is unbelievably drinkable and not hot at 58% for sherried Distillery 78, in my opinion.
Very good.
For the distillery characteristics, Alex, for me, it always goes one of 2 ways, and it can be really heavy, really meaty and rich, or it can be quite bright and stone fruity and like white melon kind of flavors. And for this one, it sort of strikes not a middle balance, but a both kind of, it goes down both roads at the same time. There's brightness to it, there's depth, there's richness, there's stone fruit, there's a lot going on. And
I love your call. It's a perfect call. I usually find them in the former of what you said, and I do find this one leading the former. But now that you've said it, I'm kind of with you, because when I've had bourbon casks from this distillery OB or other IB, 100% can fall the ladder. But now I'm getting it. Now you've said it, I'm getting it. 100%. There's some beautiful like nectarine and stuff on this one.
White melon.
Yeah, there's sort of the things you mentioned, white melon, sort of light and delicate, more sort of ones are often I've found it usually quite old.
Yeah.
Like 25, 30 years old, and maybe that's that one of those. There's a few distilleries like that where their young spirit and their old spirit almost could be different distilleries entirely.
Great point. Yeah.
Whereas some distilleries, they're young and they're old. You can tell, yeah, okay, we're in the same ballpark. I mean, a good example would be Glen Grant. 5-year-old and 50-year-old Glen Grant are still Glen Grant, and it's a great spirit. And it's a very versatile spirit. But like this is one of these distillates where maybe it's a 10-year-old versus a 30-year-old whiskey. They are actually worlds apart.
Linkwood, say Linkwood's a Glen Grant equivalent. You can always pick the kind of core of a Linkwood, depending on whether
you can always pick a Linkwood core.
I reckon I can pick. Linkwood's always got pineapple in the same way that Bunnahabhain's always got peanut. Every age, you get it.
Wow.
You say the same for a distillery. Was it 26? Just texture wise.
Oh, like waxy jacket.
Oh, waxy.
Waxy, wax on, wax off.
Wax and apple.
Depends when you get it.
Yeah, it depends when you get it. That's true.
Probably
26 is always waxy.
Yeah, it's quite distinctive.
18s are almost always waxy.
They are. Yeah. True,
is 18s? I sometimes I get confused between 18s and 19s. Was 18s 50s mouthwash?
Yeah.
And
no, that was
no, that's 19s.
That was 19s.
19. Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
19s are great.
19s are insane.
So good.
Yeah, it was that juicy own vanilla 50s mouthwash.
They are classic JOV, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like the oak and the juicy.
JOV, sweet, fruity, and mellow. Almost. I think of those two like killer profiles.
Yeah, because 18's often done in sherry too, or different
Champs top 10.
Howard Ware, this is a great whiskey. 78 is one of my favorites. This is a little different to their usual, but great. Different in a good way, different in a not so good way. Let us know, Howard.
Yeah.
Great, I think he said.
This is a great whiskey.
Okay, I said Howard. Okay.
All you have to do is read the first sentence and the rest will make sense.
Man, I think it's cool. I think it's worth noting as well. I'm not here to, whatever, but whole casks. Whole casks are pretty cool for the champs. I don't like, the liquid is a liquid. Cool label. I'm going to say it. It's a cool label.
Yeah, just bought one. Nice to see, Howard.
Just got a nice.
In a good way. Just bought one. Appreciate it, Howard.
Yeah.
That is a good sign.
Great call, Howard.
And just to piggyback off your comment, what that means is, for those who might not realize, when we say we have the whole cask, that means that no one else in the world, has access to this bottle. Yep. There is no other society branch that has 78.92. This was only delivered to Australia for Australian members.
Suck it, USA. This is our one.
Yes.
No. We love you, USA. To our US friends, Tom.
For all our US friends.
Tom, send us 10 casks and I'll send you one of these. Deal.
He's not actually an employee, technically.
So. Please don't listen to him.
I will come and see you and I'll collect it.
He will though.
I will do it.
But yeah, no, I think we're Lockie and I were quite happy with picking this one, and I think the resounding feedback at champs and in the lead up to was
100%.
Fantastic. So I'm glad that we could share this with a few more people around the country today, and I think it's a good Christmas Day dram as well. It's sort of for me, it's got that sort of like red velvet cupcake note on the palate.
Given Howard just bought one, I'm assuming he's talking about this one.
I believe so. Yeah,
I would say my tip with this one is actually often things change with oxidization. We've all got bottles open. We leave it a bit of time and see how it develops. I think this one changes quite massively to the point where when you freshly open it, just enjoy it, pour it neat, try to remember exactly how that tastes on the first pour, and then revisit within say a couple of weeks and see how it develops. Because I think with this one, it's quite rapid. Whereas some, you have one, the first pour feels a bit different and then it sort of stabilizes and you drink them the same thing for a fair few months after that. This one, I think, just is quite developing. And it must be something to do with the cask and the spirit and whatever's playing.
Zach, you've just gone back and nosed. I've just been watching you from here. You've gone back and nosed the first whiskey. Like we said, we would try and see what's happening.
Yeah.
It's nice to have so many glasses.
Spun sugar, icing sugar. There's heaps of interesting sweetness going on now that didn't seem to be there before.
Is that the absolute first one?
Love Hearts.
Yeah. Great name for that one too, because I felt straight off the bat it had that slightly dusty component that the Love Heart candy has.
Yeah,
but also Love Hearts, I for me at least, are always associated. Well, always again for me associated with a strawberry flavor, or sort of some sort of pink flavor, which I felt the Young and Sprightly really conveyed. Not just because it is a pink flavor profile, because I genuinely got that sort of strawberry boysenberry type of flavor from it.
Excellent. My only remark on going back and nosing my glasses is that 105 has not tamed even slightly. It's still one bristly and crazy whiskey, that one.
Howard Ware agrees. Love Hearts has opened beautifully.
Yeah, as I knew it would. You often, like, especially first fill 9-year-old, it needs that sort of like real sort of, it needs a bit of time, needs a bit of air. It works really well.
Yeah. Young and sprightly,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's some lovely tobacco on that. Sorry to jump again, but there's some, because now I'm having it. There's lovely tobacco on that 78 at the end as well. Just as it develops, it's getting beautifully savoury as it breathes in the glass. We're pouring ours fresh out of an ice.
Yeah, hay bales.
Betty asks, when do you reopen after Christmas? I mean, the official date, I believe, is the 5th of January. But I mean,
the shop's always open. The shop is always open.
We never stop working, Betty.
Shop is always open, and Zach will be sort of looking after orders intermittently over that break. Our last day is the 23rd of December. This is all going out in an email early next week, by the way, like Monday next week. So, but between the 23rd and the 5th of January, there will still be any orders you put through will go out. So not to fret.
Indeed. All right, folks. This has been a lovely way to finish off the virtuals for the year. Even if our swapping Flavour Hunters Festival shirts concept did not work as entirely as planned, that meant that we were able to get together with you all virtually, as we've been doing in person throughout the rest for the other half of this month, and still some events to come around the country. As Adam already mentioned, there's still one big outturn drop, which is this Friday, which is, of course, it's got the 2.140, but it's also got a whole bunch of other goodies in there,
including the Distressed Tranquility, which
the 163 we just tried tonight is coming out this Friday. So you tasted a pre-release tonight, which is fantastic, and it's actually I think this has been a team favorite, that particular bottling. But yes, who we got?
All right, there we go.
Oh, look at this! It's even on screen in reverse. But
so just read it, but backwards.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, look, there's a few goodies still coming, including actually that gin. We got that gin this Friday as well. That, by the way,
speaking of rums, which I wasn't and you weren't, but that is an amazing gin.
That's not the gin you tried, but that one is also a good gin. But you're talking about
both of them are great gins.
Stay tuned for January outturn.
I don't actually like gin at all, but I like both of the gins we're talking about.
If you haven't tried a Society gin, it doesn't actually matter which one. Any Society gin is pretty much bottled with the intent.
Basically, you should barrel age gin, is what we're saying.
Whiskey drinker.
Yeah,
we should.
It's drinking it neat will change your life. Like it genuinely will. Try with all sorts of mixes, but drinking it neat is quite insane.
It ain't gin like you've tried gin. It's just better.
Yeah,
there's my comment.
Yeah, but as Matt was saying before we rudely cut him off, there is one last final release on Friday. So 5 new bottles coming out, including the 163.2, the Distillery 2, and the gin and the sorry, not the gin, the rum. The gin came out last week. It was the rum. You guys are leading me on a different one. The rum's coming out on Friday.
Oh, the rum's on Friday.
And the 115, an absolute member favorite, Jamaican oxtail stew. Yeah, which has been it's been featured at a couple of preview events, and people have really loved that one. So definitely, and almost 50% of it already sold through preview events. So don't wait on it. At 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time on the 12th of December, this Friday. And maybe if you're around midday on Monday, you might see another little treat land in your inbox. Maybe. So stay tuned for that. Dave and Carolyn Taylor, wish you all Merry Christmas. See you all next year. Howard, thank you for tuning in. Betty, thank you as always. We wish you all a lovely Christmas. Zach, Alex, Matthew, thank you for joining me in my office. And I'll see you all soon. We'll see you in January outturn. Cheers.
Good night.